Hi everybody, welcome to Wine Searcher. Today, to celebrate St George's Day, I thought we should try a bottle of Gaia Agiorgitiko. Why did I think that? Evidently translated from Greek, Agiorgitiko means St George's grape, so it seemed pretty appropriate. This is from a producer called Gaia. It's their 2019 vintage, and this comes from the Nemea region in the Peloponnese in Greece. Agiorgitiko, probably arguably one of Greece's noble grape varieties. It's the only variety you can use to make Nemea. Nemea is this area in the northeast of the Peloponnese that is cooled by proximity to the ocean, like most of the Peloponnese, but also most of the vineyards are at quite high altitude. This particular winery is in a place called Koutsi. Their vineyards are at about 850 metres above sea level, so you get really good sunshine, but you don't get excessive heat during the day, and you get lovely cooling at night. The vineyards here are on limestone soils with slightly less than a meter's worth of clay topsoil, so that helps restrain the vigour of the vine because they're relatively free draining soils. The winemaker here, somebody called Yanni Paraskevopoulos, has been one of the sort of the leaders of the sort of renaissance of quality Greek winemaking since, I suppose, the mid-1990s. He's also taught at Athens University teaching oenology. Gaia have two wineries. They have the one in Nemea, and they also have a very successful winery on the island of Santorini where they make pungent whites from the Agiorgitiko grape variety. Despite the fact this has come from a region that has been making wine since about the 5th century BC, this is a very new, modern winery, a new venture. The grape variety tends to be it's quite a large grape variety with a thin skin, but has really good, has quite good acidity. In other words, it's actually quite difficult to get the tannins and the flavours all ripe at the same time to counter the acidity, but also gives reasonable colour and has good flavour intensity. The wine spent a bit of time in oak. There's very little detail given on the website I looked at there, but actually I think we'll find it's all very well integrated. So to talk about the wine, have a look at that. Colour wise, this is not a particularly dark wine. I mean, Agiorgitiko has good colour, but I've rarely found it opaque. This is sort of a medium ruby. It does throw some really quite stupendous legs. As I say, the wine says it's 14% alcohol, so that's unsurprising, and it's got plenty of tannins. But let's taste and see. First of all, smelling it, the aromas start off with a sort of a milkiness, but they're all very well integrated. Beyond the milkiness, there's raspberry. It's almost a sort of raspberry and cream sort of note, and then it opens up to be a sort of ripe plum. It's a warm ripe plum, almost going on to a sort of a richer damson note. There are top notes over the top of that, maybe a little bit of licorice and some spiciness, perhaps cinnamon, but just tiniest hint of oak in there. It certainly doesn't dominate. To taste the wine. It's a medium-bodied wine with some really good grip. At the same time, there's a lovely juiciness, there's a freshness from the acidity, and the grip doesn't make it astringent. There's a suppleness to those tannins. And as a grape variety, I wasn't really sure when I was thinking about this. Do you compare it to, say, Cabernet Sauvignon, or do you compare it to Merlot? And I think my answer is probably both, because it's got that sort of luscious softness of a Merlot, but it doesn't have the weight and the roundness and the body of that. That's more, and it's got lovely fresh acidity. So that's much more Cabernet Sauvignon like. So actually, in my analysis, I think the kind of wine that this reminds me of is probably a good Bordeaux Superior or a Cru Bourgeois, that sort of thing. Something with a little bit of aging. There's perhaps, as well as all those sort of raspberry and ripe plum flavour, there's almost a sort of a slight pruniness, a bit of development in there. There's a core of sort of red licorice sort of richness as well. And the freshness of the acidity keeps the flavours lasting on the palate very nicely. I can still feel I'm salivating as a result of that. It's a wine that would be quite versatile, matching with dishes. You could put it with white meats very happily. It has the structure to go up with dark meats, and it would have the acidity to be served with tomato dishes or that sort of thing. So, you know, very versatile wine. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Agiorgitiko, happy St. George's Day, everybody. Bye now.